It's week two, 605. Welcome. My name's Bill. Let's jump in, shall we? Yes, we shall. So, this might be my favorite week of the whole course. So I feel like week one is getting your bearings, getting acclimated to 605. Week four, week five, the peer review of chapter two, and then your final submission, your final draft, hopefully, of chapter two is submitted. And this is the chance to really dive into your lit review, your chapter two. So I'm going to give you, I think, a synthesis of what assignment one and two are, explain kind of the chronology of that. And really, the only other thing you need to do this week is the discussion board post. And week two, the discussion board post is just your reflection journal. So the idea, if this does not sound familiar, by the way, just in that greenish sidebar, you have week one, week two, you clicked on week two. Under course items, submit assignment, discussion board. If you click on that, it takes you to all the discussion boards, and you get a couple of really nice paragraphs explaining what the reflection journal should be. That's, I think, the clearest place that explains the reflection journal. So week two, your reflection journal is going to be posting your reflection journal. Highly recommend keeping it in word processing, either in Word or in Google Docs, and then pasting it into the week two reflection journal check-in. It's due Sunday by midnight, and aside from that, it's really just really working on chapter number two. So assignment one and assignment two are super related. So here is the thought of that. You need to complete a draft of assignment two for assignment one. So we're talking about the lit review. We're talking about chapter two. You had an annotated bibliography. And so I would recommend actually reading what chapter two is supposed to be in assignment number two first. Say that one more time. You can also rewind me, I suppose. Actually reading assignment number two first. The Google Doc that explains what a lit review is for learning about the assignment. So on week two, at the bottom of it, a look ahead. Click here for assignment number two. You're going to click on that. You're going to read that. Maybe even pause me right now. Command click on it. Open a new tab. Right click on it. Open a new tab. Read assignment number two. Does a fantastic job explaining the difference between what you know as an annotated bibliography and what you're going to be doing as a literature review. So you already know the lit review after reading this Google Doc explaining assignment two, right? So what assignment number one is getting a draft of your lit review as close to just done as you can. You're going to submit it in the discussion board week number four. And then the assignment is actually a peer review. So I'm going to partner you up with someone, maybe a trio, as my mom, who taught kindergarten for a long time, called it a three-bean casserole. But I always think of like kidney beans and like a cream of mushroom soup casserole. Trios. And what would be like the cooler version of that? Top Chef has, beef tartare three ways or something. Maybe, some version of that that's a little less kind of bougie. And yet, here we are. So assignment number one, you're essentially going to submit your hopefully close to done, as final as you can get, chapter two, lit review. And then assignment number one is to really critically essentially grade it, right? You're going to peer review it. Think about it as though you are the one teaching this course and give like really specific feedback. That's like one of the greatest gifts you can give a classmate in this entire course. So you're going to submit kind of draft of assignment two, peer review it. That is assignment number one. And then the following week is reading that feedback, implementing it, and submitting chapter two again. This time, maybe it's helpful to think assignment number one, you submit it to a peer. Assignment number two, you submit it for me to view and grade. Kind of. I view and grade both. but that's kind of the intended audience. If that's a way to kind of almost final goes to a peer, final goes to me for assignment one and assignment number two. So it's the same thing. It's chapter 2. It's the lit review. It's converting your annotated bibliography into a lit review. That's what you're doing in chapters 4. Oh my gosh. Week 4 and week 5. So the only thing you must do kind of graded wise in this week number 2 that we are in is your weekly journal, and you're doing that every week. So definitely make some progress. There's quite a bit of work going from an annotated bibliography to a lit review, particularly when it's due in week 4, even though it might look like it's in week 5. So last thing I have for you is take kind of a step back, like 30,000 foot view of what we're doing here. Hopefully everybody is staying safe wherever you may be. It would be a bit of a hyperbole to say every email and every conversation, every meeting, but a lot of emails I'm getting, a lot of what I'm seeing on social media, almost our entire senior leadership meeting today was around COVID-19, what am I saying? And what we would do as a school, right? So it's basically like, if we are told by, health department, your school is shut down, how do we keep teaching our students? And I don't want to get too much into that, although I'm happy to share some resources with you. But it was pretty cool to be in a room and actually share like the lived experience of being an instructor of online asynchronous learning, right? Like, we're doing that right now. Although I am doing that right now, and then you are doing it in your right now. That's what asynchronous is. It's almost like time travel. This is like Back to the Future, where I can talk to you and you can listen to me whenever you want. And it's not right now because I haven't uploaded it yet. Videos are like time travel. I'm not trying to be silly, like truly, like that's pretty cool. It's like a blog post or a podcast where I like suss that out. But we as educators right now, if you're listening to this, are in a really cool space where we are living out online instruction, and absolute have an expertise that very few educators do. So in meetings, in conversations, in your schools, don't be afraid to like hold that expertise, because it is not a common thing. And you know what it feels like as a student, right? And so that amount of empathy, if your school does close down, like fingers crossed and knock on wood and say a prayer, and all of the things one might do, that we get a handle on coronavirus and whatever comes next. But knowing what you know and having that empathy, or like being able to, if this happens, have that empathy for your students and know what it's like to be on the other side as a learner is super, super valuable. Probably in a way that you had not expected when you signed up. Was not a way when I expected when I agreed to teach this course and all the courses. And even in the senior leadership meeting as director of technology, that was the hat I was wearing, where I would be the one like in the position of expertise of online instruction, like to like really know it, and to like wholeheartedly like agree or disagree with statements being made in a way that really until today, for like the last 6 years, was very much like, oh, that's a great idea, I hear you, yes, and how about, let's build on that idea. And there was, God, maybe like 5 moments where I just was like, I am not going to do that. I am not okay with doing that for our school, for our students, for our teachers, for whatever kind of it was. Just because we've been doing this, and have lived it in a way that when all you do is work at a school site face to face, it's, I would imagine it would be really, really hard to make that jump to like we're at a K-8, right? So if this K-8 couldn't be at our school site, what do you do? What don't you do? So I was really grateful for this experience, for the years of online instruction and all the lessons learned. So perhaps even as we go through this course, you can kind of do a nesting dolls approach, where you definitely wear the hat as learner, but you're also an educator, right? And I'm being very careful about what I model, what I choose to do and not do. Um, in Can we call this an interaction? Not really. That's probably like an awkward face just then. Don't rewind that. About just kind of how we connect and how one learns online. Um, so if you can kind of take a step back and be like, oh, if I was teaching this course online, like literally 605 maybe, or also like whatever content area, whatever grade level you have, if I was teaching it, I would for sure do this like Bill does. I would for sure change this unlike Bill does, right? Um, don't be afraid to kind of think about that in kind of the meta, like one layer removed from you as learner. Um, and hopefully that's been happening somewhere along the way. I don't know that I can ever take like my educator hat off. So when I'm learning, I'm like not critiquing, but like taking it in and like filtering as an educator. So if you have not been like overtly doing that, I encourage you to overtly do that as we continue with that, and don't be afraid to hold the space in conversations as an expert, because very few educators are in the way that you are. So hang in there. I'm thinking about you. If you do have any specifics about platforms or even the way that I'm thinking about how I'm introducing people to how we would shift from face-to-face online instruction, um, happy to reach out and chat with you. So let me know. I'm here for you for 605, for whatever thing might lead you to online instruction in a um, unexpected, sudden way. And with that, happy week 2.